So what MGR did on the big screen, you're trying to do through Big Boss.
Yeah, but there it is not a narrative which is created by a writer where I am playing good. They see me for what I am and what kind of decisions I make, my demeanor, my speech, and the clarity of it. That's what they like, and that's why I did 4 seasons, and that's been my platform.
I remember the last time we spoke, in fact, just after you decided to enter politics, you said that one of the things that you felt most strongly about was secularism. You believe that there can be absolutely no discrimination on grounds of religion. Is that something you feel just as strongly, having realized that politics is also about vote banks? Do you believe that politicians must break these barriers of religion and caste?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we will set the trend.
You're sounding incredibly positive. Is that the kind of person you are? That, even in your cinema, when you were experimenting, people would say, "Has Kamal Haasan gone much too far with this particular role?" Is that the kind of person you've been, that you want to break boundaries, break the stereotype? Both in cinema, first in cinema, now in politics.
Yes, the ascent of man itself as a race is because of these kind of path breaking that's done. And my heroes in my book of greatness have all been those kind of people.
Who's your hero? Who do you look up to?
Well,
Who's the hero's hero?
For me, it's Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Note that I did not use the word Mahatma. I want him to be not inimitable, but imitable. And that's possible. And that's what I truly believe.
My worry is sometimes, though, if Gandhi contested in an election in Tamil Nadu with all that money, would he lose his deposit? I've often wondered whether Gandhi would have been able to win in the era of vote bank politics, a man who had this moral courage, because politicians seem to lack moral courage.
No, but
to take those tough decisions.
That might be their reality, but for me, Gandhiji is my hero, and he's emulatable, and you'll have to re-customize some of it to suit today's times, but it's doable.
This election will occupy you till the 2nd of March, till the 2nd of May. Will you go back to cinema at some stage? You see this as, a true all-rounder who doesn't just do politics or just do cinema. In the months and years ahead, will you continue to delight us on the small and big screen?
I don't know. It depends on what the people bid me to do. If they give me a bigger responsibility, then I'll have to shun that and forget it for good. And there are tremendous actors waiting on the sideline to make their debut. And they will all have to come forward. And I, for once, would take a position which is far, far greater than that of a performing artist. That's being an audience. And
I have to ask you this. Hindi cinema actors often don't take stands on any issue. They tend to be very timid and reluctant. What is it about South Indian actors that, from the great NTR in Andhra Pradesh, entering politics, MGR, Shivaji Ganeshan, to even today's stars, even the Prakash Rajes of the world, we had Sharat Kumar, they have strong political views. Why is it that down south, stars have strong political views?
that's probably from what the environment may be one of the reasons, and probably our remunerations are not as big as that of Hindi star in those days.
You don't get paid what Salman Khan gets paid for Big Boss?
No, that's not true. But it's changing now. But we are getting, as a regional cinema, I'm surprised they're able to pay this much at all. But we are catching up. But still, we used to be much poorer cousins before.
But you all are braver. You all are big stars, but you still take political stands. What's your advice to Hindi cinema actors?
Bravery, if in close quarters, becomes contagious. I think the distance is now reducing because of the digital era. And this will catch on, and I'm sure that my brothers up north would also get the same kind of bravery, valor that's required.
You know, listening to you is fascinating because, as I said, there seems to be a philosopher in Kamal Haasan, not just an actor and hoping to be a mass politician, but a philosopher. Is that the way you've always been?
Well, as I told you, it comes from my father and my hero. They're both, they were both that.
You know, you are a true all-rounder because you've not only done, you started off as a child actor, you've done acting, you've done dancing, you've done anything that you could have done in the world of entertainment, and now politics. There's one thing that someone suggested, why don't you get Kamal Haasan to dance? I said, look, I think he's left his dancing days behind. But there's one aspect of you, which is your singing. You know, you sing, I'm told, very, very well. I'm going to ask you, in this election season, if you had to attract audiences, your voters, any song that you have, either in Tamil or any language that you want to sing it in?
It's another question you were asking constantly. This also answers that. Are you truly ready for politics and you leave behind everything else? I am. So instead of making me sing or dance, I can even ride a horse. But there's enough place for me to do some equestrian stunts as well. But I would request you to ask me one more question, which might help me get across my message to them instead of singing.